far off the mark. Beethoven, Tesla, Picasso, Hemingway, and Faulkner, for example, were just a few of the many geniuses not, and I would emphasize strongly not, known for their impulse control. But the second and more important point here is that the authors Chua and Rubenfeld see the triple package as leading not to genius, but to success. Genius and success, again, are obviously different. We shouldn't hold the authors to a standard genius that they never for a moment intended to meet. Success is their benchmark, and they judge success, as do most Americans today, by such things as colleges attended, by professional salaries earned, by accumulated wealth, by positions held within corporations, governments, and academia, that sort of thing. They are not interested in exploring why different races are or are not creative, an essential aspect, I believe, of genius. But once again, here, in this particular discussion of race and ethnic characteristics, I have no particular standing. As a mongrel American, I have no strongly pronounced ethnic upbringing or ethnic experience. Thus, at this point in my Yale Genius course, I call upon students who do, often students of Asian descent, usually Chinese students and Chinese American students, to offer their perspective on the matter. Some years ago, a student of Chinese descent from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, named Sean Tan, was taking the Genius course and had especially insightful things to say about his Chinese upbringing versus an American one. The next year, though Sean had graduated from Yale, I invited him back by means of an audio hookup from Kuala Lumpur to talk to our class while I showed the PowerPoint slide presentation that he'd prepared. Sean has gone on to become a successful writer about Far Eastern politics, dividing his time between the Hoover Institute at Stanford and Hong Kong. What follows is a combination of excerpts from Sean's audio class feed, my comments, and his slides, which have been updated where possible to show statistics as of 2020. The issues at play here are these: discipline versus disobedience, the virtues of a homogeneous versus a heterogeneous society, collective uniform thinking versus individual contrary thinking, and ultimately creativity. As Sean talks, I'll show his slides.
By Asian, I'm going to define Asian today by saying Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. By that, I don't mean like Indian or Pakistani, just because those cultures are very different from those three, and I really don't know enough about that to talk about it. So, I mean, where do I come from? I'm from Malaysia, and I'm Malaysian Chinese, and Chinese in Malaysia make up 25% of the population. They're one of the biggest ethnic groups. So, let's move on to the Asian genius. This is, the picture of the Asian genius. I mean, at first he seems like completely untouchable, right? I mean, how do you measure up to that? And why is he untouchable? He has got many things going for him. He's a math whiz. He always seems to know the answer to every question. He always gets the top grades, almost never below an A. Plays at least one musical instrument well. He's a computer whiz, a workaholic. He wears glasses. I mean, how do you compete with that? Seriously, glasses. And why is Asian parenting? How do we get to this point, though? A lot of it is due to the difference between Asian parenting and Western parenting. And how is Asian parenting so successful? Well, I mean, for one, you're really disciplined. This is a cane. This is the kind of cane I used to get hit with like all the time when I was a kid. Like, it's an awful like rattan cane. My mom could buy it from like supermarkets, and it wasn't very very good material. Sometimes she'd cane you, and the cane would split in half, and then it would be like being hit with two canes, and that would just And these are just the stuff they see. They use this too. This too. And this is a typical scene from my childhood. That brings back